Hello, Dota 2 fans, and welcome to the third and final day of your Group C coverage for the Bridon Open Cup. We've got Vega Squadron versus mYi Insanity, and a little backstory here for you. mYi effectively eliminated from this one, but they've brought their full squad up against Vega today, intent to play spoilers. Vega, in order to make it through to the next stage, will have to beat mYi here as well as X Game in the next game, and then they will have to go on to a third best of one against X Game for the tiebreaker. So they do have a tall order to fulfill for today, but they have been looking pretty impressive thus far, and in fact the only team to beat them has been X Game. I am Marge, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, joined by Mike Loris. We are HeflaTV, your English coverage, and as always the insightful Mike Loris. What do you got to add to this one?
Man, I missed most of this group stage, so I don't really have much. I just know that I'm actually pretty surprised that mYi Insanity aren't doing as well in the group. I would really expect them to be doing a little bit better, but they've not been performing well, I guess, in general as of late. So X Game, as you said, this day is all about them. They have to win 3 games if they actually want to be the ones out of this group. It's definitely possible for them to do it. Like, Vega have been constantly impressing me every single time I've seen them, and it's just getting to a point where it's like they are soon on the top of the tier 2 list. Like, it's hard to name teams that are going to easily smash them in game. So it's possible for them, and well, their first hurdle is right here. mYi Insanity going to be banning out the Juggernaut and the Troll Warlord, whereas Vega going to take out the Axe and Zeus. Rather odd bans there.
Yeah, Axe and Troll a little bit more common, but yeah, the Zeus ban in the first phase, definitely something that's a little bit out of the box. But either way, yeah, Vega looking very good thus far in the group stage. mYi definitely unimpressive as well for myself. And so, unfortunately, they're out of this one, but they will be able to play spoiler here. Something to note quickly, T-Po standing in for Undershock for Vega, but they've been playing without Pashe Bashu for the last 3 days, and they were able to defeat mYi in their first matchup against them with 1 stand-in. So, either way, still looking very good for Vega. X Game has not lost a single game thus far, but Vega will have to take one off them today. mYi going to start up with a support duo unless one of these ends up being a core, which is probably unlikely, and they're going to pick up the Skywrath AA. So the Ancient Seal instantly to counter up that Brewmaster, a little bit of burst damage from the Ice Blast as well from the AA, and hopefully some lockdown if they're able to set up that Cold Feet.
Yeah, it's so far going to be a little bit difficult to set up that Cold Feet, but just opening up with Skywrath Mage, it didn't even matter what the second hero was, honestly. Like, versus the Brewmaster, you're pretty much as set as you can be. Centaur, I think, is also a reasonable second pick, though many teams just don't really want to go for Centaur in general anymore, and that's fine. You don't have to do that. Ancient Apparition is a perfectly solid hero. However, you know, whenever I see teams do this, it's always really nice. You dominate the lanes with your insane burst damage. You got Chilling Touch. You have Skywrath Mage's harassment with the Arcane Bolts. But you oftentimes run into a situation where, yes, you have all of these damaging tools, but because your 2 supports are very crowd control light, you actually can't kill your enemies.
Yeah, definitely so. They do lack Disable thus far. And speaking of which, Vengeful Spirit going to be picked up by Vega here. So picked up early and often, as it has been most of the Bridon League and recently in Pro Dota 2. So things looking good thus far for Vega. Very well rounded. They have some team fight offered from the Brew. As you mentioned, lane strength is definitely there for mYi, but their ability to transition is a little bit questionable thus far. So we'll see what they trio this up with. Perhaps there is a core that offers a little bit of disable, something like the Wraith King or the Sven, but maybe even a Slark for that leash. But either way, gonna see what direction they take it in. The Meepo ban actually gonna come out from Vega here. Interestingly enough, I haven't seen Milan play this in the mid lane or even Cole in the core for mYi, so perhaps they just have a strategy in mind that they don't want to see the Meepo into.
It's Lizard is the Meepo player, mYi Insanity, and as far as Meepo players go, he's a good one. Like, I feel like if any of these teams ever pick Meepo, then their Meepo has to be good. Like, that's just a rule. What I've seen of Lizard's Meepo is that it does extremely well, but it's not Weehaw. So, you know, there's that. Of course, that's not really saying that much since it's comparing him to literally the top, I think. But, you know, it's a dangerous hero for sure. And Venge Brewmaster, I mean, the Drunken Haze is actually really good against Meepo, but aside from that, you are pretty much ill-equipped to deal with the Meepo at this point if you're Vega.
Yeah, so much magical burst there, and underneath the Ancient Seal, they could definitely bring down the Brewmaster. So probably just something they don't want to see, and as you mentioned, a little bit of a respect ban towards Lizard there, so definitely warranted from Vega. They're also going to ban out the Tide, and he deals fairly well with the Brew as well, having that Ravage at 2.5 second stun there, or just underneath that, on top of that Ancient Seal. So yeah, Tide definitely a strong hero, not something we've seen picked up too often more recently. And interestingly enough, mYi is going to ban out the LC here, so it's a little bit odd, I would say. Coming out would have to be either in the off lane or the 1 position, and I haven't seen Vega run it at all in this tournament or previous ones, so maybe something that they're willing to pick up here. Something like a Void, definitely something you don't want to be locked down as he jumps in. There is a little bit of a cast animation on that Chronosphere, about 0.65 seconds, so good reactions from the LC. Could throw a wrench in that, but at this point don't really see the point of that ban thus far.
Yeah, I would more expect mYi to be the ones picking up the Legion Commander. This is a very mYi type of hero, the LC. They used to, at the very least, grab him all the time. And already with the Skywrath Mage Ancient Apparition, it would be decent. Obviously, they have to worry about Vengeful Spirit and the Haze on the other end, so it's not going to be, 100% easy for them to get off with those duels, but they're definitely comfortable with the hero. That being said, Faceless Void, I would say, is probably a little bit safer. Yeah, you still have to deal with the Vengeful Spirit swap, but there's no real way of getting around that. Chronosphere Ancient Apparition is pretty sick. Chronosphere Skywrath Mage is pretty sick. And it's going to go up against a Tusk. Sweet.
Dusky is going to be picked up by Vega. This is going to be a very aggressive roaming duo in the Venge Tusk. They're not going to be the best lane supports, but they will be able to roam fairly effectively. And as I mentioned earlier on, it will be the Slark to couple up, presumably with the Skywrath AIM, perhaps the Void in the offlane. They do have that Mystic Flare as well as the Ice Blast to jump into the Chrono, so perhaps not willing to sacrifice too much farm on this Slark and give it over to the Void, as they do have those mechanics to find solo kills regardless once they get up that ultimate. So I like this pickup from mYi. It does leave their draft a little bit narrowed hereafter. They'll probably have to go for this mid laner unless they put the Skywrath or AA in that role.
And with Faceless Void already on their side, they don't have to worry about probably one of the best counters to Slark. Outside of that, usually the counters to Slark come with the support heroes, and so Tusk Vengeful Spirit, it's fine. You have a couple of answers here and there, but overall, it's not really what you want. mYi, they could also throw the Slark over towards the mid lane, expecting now a Brewmaster or a Phantom Assassin lane, either of which would be decent for the Slark. So mYi could afford to play this a little bit greedy, and Vega Squadron, with their picks, with their 3 melee heroes so far lineup, are letting mYi play this greedy just because their punishment comes from the Vengeful Spirit Tusk. Slark is not really going to worry too much about that because the snowball is, you can see that from a mile away. If you mess up that pact, then you're doing something really wrong.
Yeah, you definitely touched upon it, and no real answers for Shadow Dance thus far from Vega. They really only have the Thunderclap to hit the Slark while he's underneath the protection of that. Greed definitely an option here for mYi, as you alluded to, because they're out of this tournament. So really, at this point, they are playing with their ears pinned back and balls to the wall. So Viper Bang going to come out from Vega here. It's going to take away a pretty strong tanky mid laner from mYi, and Broodmother going to be banned up from Vega. Definitely at this point lacking an offlaner.
All right, so mYi, they have quite a lot of time to grab their last hero. I think even though Slark is decent at fighting early on, Faceless Void is so light that they need someone who they could rely on in order to get the fight going a little bit early. Initiation power from the Storm Spirit is going to be that pick. I would have said Ember Spirit would have also been pretty decent up against Vega, but Storm Spirit's a little bit more initiation oriented. He's not as hard in the late game, but that's perfectly reasonable with Slark and Faceless Void. Now they have someone to jump in, and now they actually can afford to open up on Vega Squadron, who already have some good initiation of their own. So now mYi, between the Faceless Void and Storm Spirit, it's perfectly reasonable to see them be the ones to jump on the Brewmaster, and with their damage, they can bring him down very easily. Yeah,
roaming around with that Slark, he moves fairly quickly. He can come in after a Ball Lightning initiation from Storm Spirit, and with that early Orchid that generally you see the Storm Spirit build into, on top of the Ancient Seal, this Brewmaster is going to have quite a hard time in most of these fights, and I assume Pashe Bashu will be the focus of a lot, but it looks like they will take the Brew to the off lane and put things on the shoulders of no one's puck here to pick up an early blink, as opposed to the brew, so perhaps they are kind of avoiding that initiation power that now has come out for mYi. Still very stable drafts for both sides. I'm not sure that I favor anyone heavily at this point, but the trump card of the Chronosphere does lie on the side of mYi, so I feel like that may give them a slight edge.
Yeah, that's the biggest trump card that you could probably ask for ever. It's you know, a team fight ultimate right up there with Ravage, yet the Chronosphere typically does perform in general a little bit better, unless you just miss all of them, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen. But either way, we'll see if it does. As you said, both sides fairly balanced with what they have going for themselves. Fairly balanced aggression, rather even late game, rather even initiation and crowd control power. So it should be a good one. And well, on the Vega Squadron side, we got one person heading down towards the bottom lane. It is going to be that off-lane brew that you mentioned, Pajubashu handling that. Sima is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit with no one on the puck. Tron is going to be on the Phantom Assassin. That leaves Arzeek on the Tusk, and he's leading the way. This is a very dangerous roam team right now from Vega, just because of the power of level 1 Tusk.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier on, PA is the stand-in, actually plays with Moscow 5 int for the most part from what I've seen, so should be a pretty stable and reliable stand-in here for Vega. And as I mentioned, last couple days they were playing without Pashe Bashu, and this game will be without Undershock, but they should be just fine and farewell here. GG for the side of mYi Insanity, going to take to the off lane on the Void along with his comrades, Mitch on the Skywrath as well as Lizard on the AA. In the mid lane, Cole, usually the one position player here, actually going to pick up the Storm Spirit, and we will see Milan take the Slark towards the safe lane for now. Bounty Rune top lane, Arcane Bolts, as well as some Chilling Touch right clicks going out towards Arzeek. Time Walk is there as well. He's going to body block him up, but he gets Magic Missile in the face. One more right click is there from Mitch, however. They'll finish off Arzeek, and first blood going the way of mYi. They're going to look to chase down Sima, who does have enough mana or a Magic Missile, and they will proceed to back off here, and a nice start for this aggressive try from mYi.
Yeah, Tusk isn't really a hero that you want to be brawling with 1v1. He has okay armor, but his base damage rather low, and he, being a support, didn't open up with a Stout Shield or any other survivability item like that, so yeah, you don't really want to mess with Chilling Touch ever. Chilling Touch lets a rather weak hero right now, like Basis Void, become just an absolute juggernaut, and he'll be able to smack you down very easily if you give him the opportunity. So Vega, did they even get the Bounty Rune? No, the Basis Void grabbed it. So, I mean, the entire reason why Tusk was there in the first place was to grab that Bounty Rune. So, not really the best of times for Vega. And that'll just set the pace for this top lane. Although, ordinarily, I would say Vega have a stronger tri-lane up here. Just being down 1 kill, and now with the Ancient Apparition, being that much closer to his additional levels, it's going to be difficult. In bursts, mYi Insanity will have Chilling Touch, and they will be able to fight evenly, but I think Vega will be able to apply a lot more constant pressure towards this Void.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice start considering the power of Vega's lineup, and it almost makes it a little bit less risky to go for this aggressive try and leaving the Slark in that 1v1 matchup. Should be a slight edge to Brewmaster, but as you mentioned in the draft, Slark should be just fine to find his farm in this one.
Then over towards the mid lane, Puck Storm Spirit going to be going at it. They probably shouldn't be killing each other anytime soon. Level 6 is really where that's going to go on, but bottom lane, Milan is in a lot of trouble actually. Salved up, pounced out from the last right click of Pajubashu, just barely getting out of there alive, and Pasha is actually manhandling this lane right now. We both had slight advantage towards the Brewmaster, but Milan just is not really having a great time in this lane.
Yeah, historically Brew does pretty well 1v1, but versus a Slark, I mean, I didn't expect him to do as well as he is. Milan will put a little bit of harass back into him, but he's got a full salve still available. Haste going to be found from Lizard top lane. We'll see if they cue some aggression off of this one. They actually have Radiant Vision scouting out that the pull is happening, so they may go on to the PA here, but they're actually going to opt to just zone him out for the time being.
Yeah, as nice as the Haste Rune is in Dota, Haste Rune on Ancient Apparition is actually pretty terrible. It doesn't do anything because it doesn't have any crowd control. So that's the weakness inherently of mYi Insanity. They're going to have to rely on the minor slows that they have from eventually that concussive, which they do have right now, as well as the Time Walk. So not exactly reliable, and runes in this lane, unless you're going to grab an Invis on Skywrath Mage, it's probably not going to do anything. They're going to set up for a jump onto RZ. There's a concussive. They also have that Time Walk, Snowball Shards onto Mitch, as here comes reinforcement from Vega. Wave through all 3 of them, but now with the Chilling Touch, you can't fight this, and RZ is going to go down first. Tron, Bash, not yet. GG, still looking for that roll, but he won't find it. Tron is going to get away, but Tusk for the second time is going to take a fall. Vega not all there. I feel like if they were just a little bit closer with both PA and Vengeful Spirit. That could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely so with the full lineup, but this ward certainly paying dividends thus far for the Radiant, and the Dire lane ward not doing much as they are pretty aggressively postured up for the most part as mYi in this mid lane. Bashu going to fill up his bottle in the bot lane with that bounty rune. Rotations are into the mid from Arzeek, but looks like Cole able to scout that out and back off wisely. So he's opted for the max overload build. Definitely very standard and not bad at all versus the PA, who early on is fairly susceptible to that magic damage output.
To the bottom lane, Arzeek is going to be thinking about joining with no one right now, who is level 5 and has for now forced out Cole, also level 5. So Storm Spirit and Puck still drawing even, and Puck, he's going to need to get a little bit more than just his level 6 before he really gets turned on. He needs that Blink Dagger as well, whereas for Cole, though he would appreciate having a faster Orchid up against a Brewmaster, up against Puck, he's going to be just fine to start some action really whenever he wants it. He's going to get accelerated quite a bit by the fact that he's clearing out some stacks. It's Mud Golems, unfortunately for him. Nobody likes those guys, but he'll get through it eventually, and he's just getting that extra bit of farm while keeping himself 100% safe. And up towards top, Seema's going to get jumped again. This Vengeful Spirit is going to get hit with a concussive already. The Magic Missile has been used, so he doesn't really have many options right now. Arcane Bolt's right-click. That's going to be yet another kill for mYinsanity's top lane. And Vega, they're just at the mercy of this tri-lane, mostly because they're not fighting when Chilling Touch is down.
Yeah, and it's 3-0 now, 5 minutes in for mYi, and as you mentioned, good diligence there, waiting for that CD. Cole's been able to survive in the mid lane. Milan has now surpassed the top of the CS chart as well, after doing pretty poorly versus the Brew early on, and things looking good across the board for mYi. They've generated a 1,500 gold lead and experience roughly at equilibrium. Mid lane, Cole has been aggressed onto. There is a Dream Coil Heal. Waning Rift will hit as well. Snowball should be there. And the first kill for Vega will get on the board. Jaunt out from no one will keep him safe as well from Mitch's Skywrath.
And as nice as it is for mYinsanity to be, dominating the top lane, getting all these kills, farm for the basic void, etc., having your Storm Spirit die on the mid lane hurts so much that it's almost to the point where like these top lane kills, though nice, aren't really as influential, just because Storm Spirit is a linchpin in mYinsanity's plan. And if their Puck is the one able to draw these kills in the future, then it doesn't really matter what happens up towards top, because they're Vega killing the right hero with the right heroes. So it's a good situation still for Vega, especially as they're going to try to dive Milan. Magic Missile is going to be dodged by the Shadow Dance, and really, I don't really know what the plan here was. I mean, you cannot kill a Slark with these types of heroes pretty much ever, unless you get the jump on them.
They heavily rely
dagger on like a Vengeful Spirit doubling. You're not going to get the jump on them.
They heavily rely on that Magic Missile landing, and nicely played by Milan. They're going to commit a lot of time from their roaming duo to this bot lane. Mitch has picked up an invisibility rune, and with that level 2 Ancient Seal, that's 4 seconds of silence, and they may be able to pick off the Puck here. Ball Lightning at the ready for Cole, but the supports are rotating in. They're going to have to go quickly. They're starting to burst him down. The Electric Vortex is there. One more like overload right click. They'll bring down no one quickly. Chilling Touch is here as well. Arzeek needs to be careful, and he's going to get under the cover of Snowball. Arcane Bolt won't be there to finish him off, but Lizard should be able to do so as he runs up the hill. He's bottling up though and is alive for now, and they will turn and go on to Seema, who will fall. Ice Shards will be there, not quite enough to bring down Mitch, and he will salve up under the cover of both Cole and Lizard, and thus far 2-0 in the mid lane going the way of mYi. That's a very nice pickup after losing their Storm Spirit.
And in the meantime, Bashu and Milan going at it once again. This is not going to be a fight that Brewmaster can win any longer. Now that Slark has his level 6, so nothing happening down towards bot lane, but mostly just trade hits over towards the mid lane, man. This Tusk is like constantly finding himself in situations where you would love to have a Tusk on your team, except doesn't really want to snowball into that much burst. Like the Chilling Touch was once again up, and well, first of all, no hero wants to go up against that, and Tusk, as I said before, is not really the tankiest hero in the game right now, so he really needs a lot of backup. He needs to be able to snowball in with, a Phantom Assassin, a Brewmaster, those types of heroes who could, just start opening up with physical right-click damage, who need that small bits of initiation power in the early stages. Jumping in with the Venge, that's not quite going to do it. And the Tusk and Venge combo so far, they are 1-2, 0-2. It's been a pretty large failure for Vega.
Yeah, definitely certainly underwhelming, and top lane not helping that cause. They jump in on GG top lane with the Stifling Dagger Shards. but not enough to keep him down. He'll just time walk out to safety. He's picked up his Morbid Mask as well as completed his treads already, and he's atop the CS board despite being in that off lane position, albeit accompanied by his supports. At this moment, looks like things will stagnate, and as you mentioned, Milan starting to find a little bit of a gap in the bot lane. The pachebashu has been able to catch up in terms of CS, but a little bit low. Chronosphere is going to be popped here. That'll pop the cold feet. Arzik will be able to get the snowball off, but he's going to aggress down towards the south where he will be hit with that iron cable, and the right click will be committed. However, they'll bring down one. The illusory orb is through two. GG's the second to fall there. Mitch finds another return kill, 2 for 2 thus far. Cole now rotates in with the electric vortex. One more right click, he'll bring down no one. Oh, he's gonna face shift the tower hit, however, and no mana up onto Cole. He won't be able to chase. Illusory orb will be there. Well played from no one. That'll be a 3 for 2 thus far, going the way of Vega, and Cole rotating into no avail pretty late.
And that's the fighting power of Vega. As long as they could avoid most of the damage from that chilling touch, then they're a-okay to just get into one of those brawls. And with the Phantom Assassin level 8, she's packing some serious heat. And that heat that the Faceless Void is not going to be packing for pretty much the entirety of the game. Like, he will do what he can with that Chronosphere, but the way that everything was timed, Chronosphere was dropped, and then everyone started coming in. If it was maybe a little bit different, mYi could have burst down, you know, a little bit more on some of those heroes, and things could have gotten a lot better for them. But overall, Vega just not enough sustained damage output with these heroes coming out from mYi. In between the chilling touch hits, they don't really have that much. It's really where they need their Storm Spirit and their Slark to really pick up the pace, but Slark obviously was not in that fight.
Yeah, Milan was able to bait out the primal split bot lane from pachebashu. Brought him pretty low, so 100 seconds now on cooldown for that brew, so they can queue a little bit of aggression here, but it looks like they're just content to farm up from the side of mYi, so definitely worth that engagement top. They bait out the Chronosphere from GG and find a favorable trade. Chronosphere will be up considerably quicker than pachebashu's primal split, but he'll get bought down by the combo of Milan and Cole, so they will queue some aggression there, knowing that primal split is down and certainly warranted. That's a nice kill going the way of mYi.
And up towards top lane, they're going to think about going for GG. However, Seaman Slayer zoned out by a Mystic Flare won't outright kill him. Now Mitch is in quite a bit of trouble, but you know what? Saving GG from that Vengeful Spirit Magic Missile might just have been worth it, trading your Faceless Void for a Scarith Mage there. So it's not exactly the play that Scarith Mage really wanted to make, but it's still perfectly reasonable for him to make it. Down towards the bottom lane, actually, Slark is getting some pretty nice farm, and the kill on the Brewmaster, as you said, he got his split forced out by Milan, and then once the Brewmaster has no split, has no blink, he doesn't really have much of a chance, and he is so close to that blink dagger that if mYi can pick him off twice more within the next couple of minutes, then they're going to be sitting pretty, because they will have a lot more time to get farm where they don't have to worry about a Brewmaster. And Brewmaster at this stage, split is pretty much just a press ultimate win fight button, but if you don't have to worry about that, then you're not going to be 100% losing those fights.
Yeah, Cole's farming up a huge stack here. That was, I believe, 4 at the time, and he's going to look to find a lot of economy off of that. But as you mentioned, Blink Dagger is soon to come out for the Brewmaster, and even more quickly for no one in the mid on the puck. He's now picked up enough gold, and he will purchase that up. So these two Blink Daggers coming out in very close proximity will be a huge cue for Vega to start being effective in this mid game. And in fact, they'll immediately smoke up RZeke and no one off the pickup of this puck's Blink Dagger.
Now, it might be just because I'm sitting in this observer slot, but I'm pretty sure that is an obvious smoke, or at least an obvious blink. So mYi should know that the puck has his blink. You don't really just randomly leave a mid lane like that, and they're going to use that blink to jump onto Milan. He will catch it out, but it's too late because the orb damage is going to be enough. Slark is going to get revealed to the fact that there is in fact a blink dagger now up on the puck, and that's pretty much the dream for no one. Using your blink dagger to get a kill on the enemy Slark. That just means that pachebashu has one less hero to worry about while he himself farms up his blink. So 12 minutes in Vega, they have their initiation on the board right now. mYi do as well, but it's going to be Vega calling most of the shots unless they get hit with the Chronosphere or silenced on their Brewmaster. It's going to be Tron up on top, who's going to be maybe in a little bit of trouble. There's a Chronosphere here with the Mystic Flare. That should be enough to kill him off. Though not completely outright, he is going to fall anyway. But the Vega Squadron side, they're converging from all sides. Mitch is going to try TP away. I don't think that's going to work. He's going to get rocked, whereas the Faceless Void, they're up in the air. They're going to finish off the Scarith Mage. Now they're going to go for the Blinker. GG. Going to time walk down to the low ground. Looks like they were out of crowd control effects. No one going to blink after him. Has a regen, but I don't really know if they can catch up to this Faceless Void convincingly enough. Even if puck does get in front of Faceless Void, he's going to need to have some sick body blocking. We'll throw throw himself up to the high ground anyway. But here comes Cole and Lizard. Suddenly no one's in a pit with Ancients. And Cole knows about it. Ancient's helping out the Radiant right now, and no one is in a hell of a lot of trouble. He will orb out, but Storm Spirit will kill him off before the puck can get out of that area. Now they're going to try to turn this around. mYi blinking, or chasing forward with everyone they have. Not quite enough, though. No Chronosphere still. And Storm Spirit doesn't really want to use his mana to blindly go into that fight. So a nice turnaround for mYi overall.
Yeah, unfortunately, the puck not able to get the Waning Rift off onto the Void as he comes down from that Cyclone, and that's huge for mYi to be able to extricate their Void from that situation. It looks like they were going to trade over a lot, but they end up getting a PA and a puck just for a Skywrath Mage, so great trade for them overall. They also baited out the Primal Split there, so they can cue some aggression here. Cole does have a Soul Ring, so it looks like he hasn't gone for that Naked Orchid Rush. Also, the Power Treads finished up now and almost level 10 on the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, so you could still go for an Orchid, though with Soul Ring you are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from a Bloodstone. If you really want to go for that build, it's also reasonable, but, you know, going for a Soul Ring on Storm Spirit is just a good item in general, because you need mana. Mana equals damage, so if you turn your health into damage, then, hell, most heroes will be okay with that. As you see Slark down to the bottom lane. A hero that can turn health into damage. He's going to try to go for Pashibashi, knowing that the enemy split is down. There's an Orb of Venom here on Milan. This could be a kill, actually, as long as Pashibashi doesn't manage to out-juke him. And yeah, Milan with a haste and a Shadow Dance. Zero chance of Brewmaster's getting out of there. He needed to get that Blink Dagger back up. But Milan just going to jump down towards the bottom lane, slay a Brewmaster, and continue on farming. 2,400 up on him. Yeah. It could be a Blink Dagger on the Slark, and that would be a pretty good way to go, but honestly, he could go for whatever he wants with this much cash.
Yeah, definitely. He could build into an Orchid of his own, a little bit less common, but pretty nice up against the puck. There will be a smoke from Mitch and GG here off the back of this Chronosphere, and they will look to find another pickoff. They're going to have their smoke pop, so jump up, anticipatory from GG here, and the Mystic Flare, easy kill onto our Zeke. Not the biggest target for them to find, but certainly a nice, fruitful smoke gank either way. And yeah, as you mentioned, Milan, after losing that solo kill, was dropped down to 6th. As Illusion Orb will finish off Lizard on the net worth chart, but now back up to 2nd, and Ancient Seal, a few right clicks out onto Seema in the mid lane, so mYi still finding good trades, losing their AA for the Vengeful. No one looking to wrap here. He will be able to blink forward, but is going to be able to jaunt out. Waning Rift completely going to whiff, however, and they will get the Ancient Seal off, and then Bashlord is there. One more right click from Mitch. They're going to be putting a lot of harass into our Zeke as well with this Mask of Madness. He'll drop the Frozen Sigil, but another timely bash comes out from GG. The Snowball will, however, sound the retreat as he is underneath the tower, and they should be able to finish him off. Walrus Punch is there, but they bring down our Zeke. TP is really long from Seema, and he'll have to just back off here. mYi finding a very nice 2-for-0 in that mid lane, and the 1-for-1 before that was the AA as well for the Vengeful.
Man, you don't really want to be fighting those types of fights as Vega without your Brewmaster or your PA. Those are the heroes that should be in the front. Those are heroes that are more okay with taking hits than all the rest of the Vega side. So Brewmaster being AWOL in that fight pretty much means that mYi have a free win there. And Pashibashi, he needs to be there pretty much every single time. Phantom Assassin taking the top lane tower. Now that's a good alternative to being in that fight, but I mean, she's getting a lot of farm, which is really nice, of course, but Faceless Void, he's getting a hell of a lot of farm, except he's also getting kills, and he also has a Hand of Midas, so this Faceless Void doing a lot more for my insanity, and Pashibashi, he's going to get into another situation where he's going to have to use his split, else die? No, he's going to walk away from this one, but this Brewmaster so far has just not been too impressive, mostly because he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Milan is going to get sniped by no one on the retreat. Puck will claim that kill, and so down towards bottom lane, looks like the Brewmaster was forced to use the split after all, after getting hit with that Ice Blast.
Yeah, well-placed Ice Blast. Nice play from no one as well to pick off that Milan. Slark wasn't willing to use his Shadow Dance as he extricated himself through the river, and unfortunately the Dire Vision was enough for no one to bring himself there and take him down. No one will now take the top of the net worth chart, but the Void a little bit more valuable perhaps to his team. Despite having a Midas at this point, he does have that level 2 Chronosphere online. PA finding some pretty good farm, as you mentioned, just the recipe away from her BKB.
Once she has that, they're going to have to actually Vega fight as an entire team. It's a BKB first build, which is good for the Phantom Assassin if you want to be fighting early and often, but I mean, Vega already kind of down. I don't really know if this is the build for, or the best build for Tron in this particular game. It's a good item on the Phantom Assassin. It's good against pretty much everything that my Insanity have, but they just can't really get that much done, even if they do have a Phantom Assassin who's perfectly online. So it's going to be a dangerous situation where Phantom Assassin is going to want to fight, but the Vega side are not going to be in the best position to. They're going to run to Milan for now. Walrus Punch orb through, and the burst damage on Slark is ridiculously high with these heroes. They will bring him down, but it might not be for free because up towards top Tron is going to get time walked upon. Here comes another Mystic Flare his way, and that is going to outright be a kill. Cole jumping in because he wants a kill, and he will get it. That's going to be even trades across the board.
Yep, and he's not too far off of his Orchid. He did opt for that. Only needs the Sage's Mask and the Recipe, so he's about 800 gold away from that with 200 in his pockets. And bottom, they are going to be able to take this tier 1. Ice Blast will be able to connect on to 3, but doesn't look like there are TPs inbound quite yet. There are 2 TPs available on Milan and GG, but no Chronosphere, and they'll concede this tower over. That's the first tier 1, second tier 1 of the game going down, excuse me. PA taking that one earlier in the off lane with that mid lane engagement. But either way, it looks like things are still going well for mYi. Barely a net worth lead for them, 2k in terms of that, and also 2k in terms of the experience. So Vega still hanging on. This is their tournament hopes of being clinged to here, and they will look to sneak a Roche, so perhaps a little bit of a comeback mechanic for them. But this is going to be scouted out with an Ice Blast here by the Ancient Apparition. That's only going to hit on Tron though, and they will be able to take that tier 1 top lane. So very classic trade in Dota 1, or in Dota 2 I should say, the tier 1 for the Roche, but not sure they're going to be able to contest this in any quick manner here up against Vega.
Yeah, even though Ice Blast missed, it was able to connect on the Vengeful Spirit and forced her out of the fight. So if mYi were all here, if they actually wanted to, they could probably take this fight rather decently. Of course, you're fighting into a level 2 primal split, but you know that worst case scenario, it's still going to be a 5 versus 4.
Yeah.
And mYi, they have more than enough power, even with Chronosphere down, to take that type of fight. So they're going to make a conscious decision to give this Roshan over to the Vega side, and that's just going to enable Vega just a little bit more. The extra gold is going to be invaluable for Tron, who's going to still need that extra bit of cash for his BKB. And of course, the support hero Tusk is going to be very happy to get that income as well. So this is a fight that I think mYi could have probably fought if they actually wanted to.
Yeah. And
it probably would have gone really well for them. But instead, it's going to be Vega grabbing this Roshan, probably going to farm just a little bit more for Tron's BKB. And then with the rest of the Aegis timer, they're just going to push very, very aggressively, look for these team fights. And then that's going to be their chance to really make some sort of significant impact into this game. Because so far they've gotten a couple kills in the Slark, but in general it feels like they've just been coasting, especially with that Brewmaster ultimate.
Yeah, definitely so, and they do have the access point of this tier 1 in the mid. 3 TPs on all 3 members that are in the dire jungle, so if they decide differently out of this pause, they can look to contest this. It's been a pretty slow Roshan from Vega, and as you mentioned, the Vengeful Spirit not being here is not going to be able to accelerate that with that wave of terror, but there are some key items coming out. Cole is only about 350 gold away from his Orchid, so perhaps they're just content to farm those up and look to take this fight hereafter. But either way, what do you make of this Yasha pickup on Milan's Slark?
It's a fine item on Slark in general. Usually does go into the Sanjin Yasha, but being able to split out of a silence is reasonable as well, though it's mostly a secondary thing. It's an item that would, I think, mostly be in response to the fact that he sees, I think he did see the Phantom Assassin go for that BKB. It might have been hidden in the stash, I'm not sure, but that's the line of reason that I would say is the most likely, just because you see the Phantom Assassin ready to fight early, therefore you also need to be ready to fight early. So Slark could have gone for, a rushed Eye of Scotty or something like that, with the amount of success that he was getting in lane, but instead deciding to go for a more fighting early type of build in response is reasonable enough, and I think it's a good answer to what Vega have as their game plan. Milan has gone for an appropriate response.
Well, it definitely allows him to fight early, and it also allows him to remove himself from engagements and heal up with that little bit of extra MS. So not a terrible item for sure. I probably would have liked to see the blink, but with heroes like our Zeke having that defensive snowball, as well as the elusive Puck, and even the Brewmaster having the split, and as you mentioned, that BKB now coming out from PA, there's no one really that he can burst down too quickly with that blink dagger, so definitely warranted the pickup of the Yasha here, allowing him to fight. Either way, yeah, as we mentioned, Cole going to pick up his Orchid soon, and Milan's computer going wild apparently, but it looks like we're going to remedy these issues, and we'll see what the decision is from mYi here, and it looks like they are just content to farm up on most of their heroes while this Roshan occurs.
Items on other heroes from mYinsanity. Scarif Mage has himself a Force Staff. Just being 528, that will certainly do it for you, and Faceless Void has Working Hand of Midas, as does the Ancient Apparition. So Vega, they are kind of forced into a position where they have to go right now, and they are going to go right now onto Cole. Their burst damage isn't quite going to be enough, however, especially the shards missing. Cole will Ball Lightning away from the Snowball and the Coil both, and now it's going to be Arzeek in a little bit of trouble because he's going to be quickly surrounded. Here comes an Ice Blast, which will fly wide. The chill effect will land onto Arzeek. Up on the high ground, there is a Faceless Void, but he doesn't have enough mana for a Chronosphere, so luckily for Vega, they don't have to deal with a fight in that position, which would have been pretty darn awful, but they are going to have their first jump be a failure, and they are down their Coil, which is going to slow things down by just a little bit. Tron, very close to his BKB, and as I said before, once they have that, I think it's pretty much go time for Vega. They can't outrace a farming Faceless Void Hand of Midas and farming Ancient Apparition with Midas with their 0 Midases.
Yeah, and Cole's Orchid going to come out, so if he unknowingly uses that up on the PA, that'll be a completely wasted Orchid in this next engagement with the BKB pickup there to purge it off. So will be interesting to see how they make use of that. Cole's death mid lane would have been huge if they were able to fully commit to it, but unfortunately after that, Roshan not been able to pick that off. Milan will scout out perhaps that there is a ward here. His Shadow Dance did deactivate at about this point, so perhaps he knows that is the case, but either way, no one with an invisibility rune just expiring is standing on the high ground looking for some kill potential, and doesn't look like he'll find it for the time being, but we may see a very big engagement in the mid. All team fight ultimates are available. BKB picked up the Aegis and the Orchid up as well for Tron as well as Cole. Jump forward, Waning Rift, Stifling Dagger goes out. Shards are going to land too. Cole will be able to zip out, but he's going to use about a fifth of his mana pool. He'll be able to bottle back up, however, does have the Soul Ring as well, so they certainly can mount a defense, but GG sitting in the top lane, farming up this wave. Doesn't look like they're too willing to commit to this. They will glyph it up, get an Ice Blast to hit on to 2, but it is going to be mostly dodged by the Snowball from Arzeek here, and they will take an uncontested tier 1 for the side of Vega.
So you don't really just randomly group up and take towers like that. Try to look for those fights unless you have some sort of bigger game plan. So mYinsanity are now at this point going to know exactly what they're dealing with, and they're going to try to split push as best they can with Milan. Of course, keep the top lane pushing in, Faceless Void, unable to really do that convincingly, but he'll get it done enough. Milan is actually in quite a bit of trouble, actually. He will prep a couple of packs. He will snap the Coil, though. That's not good. He's now in a ton of trouble. He'll drop. Oh, man. A little bit of misplay there. Had Shadow Dance available. Had the ability to pack and then snap the Coil. Take a little bit of damage in the process, but you don't get stunned. So it's a little bit of misplay from the Slark, and now it's going to be Vega with a very clear play right now. Go for this tier 2. They still have that Aegis and BKB, and mYinsanity, they're going to try to split their way into a longer game, but Vega, this is their time to really do stuff, and this window is going to be very rapidly closing.
Yeah, definitely so, and as you mentioned, perhaps not really anticipating the length of the Coil there enough on the Slark. He popped that Dark Pact a little bit too preemptively, and it popped off before he activated that stun. So feeding his life over there, pretty big deal. He'll now be 6th overall on the net worth underneath Pashe Bashu on the Brewmaster, who is building into a BKB of his own, and I fear for the side of mYi, aside from this Chronosphere, they're going to have a lot of trouble dealing with these BKBs. They rely heavily on this Ancient Seal, and they will on this Orchid as well.
Their hand is being forced down towards bottom. This tower is taking quite a bit of damage. Milan, the only one in the area, is going to be rather safe, but this is going to be a tower trade that, first of all, you should never be making, really. Tier 2 in exchange for just a Tier 1. GG and Cold, though as fast as they may be able to push, can't really outpush the entirety of Vega, and it's going to be that tower trade. Still, Vega are going to be looking for that fight, and it might be over towards mid lane where they're going to look to start it. Puck is going to teleport in, but that will force GG and Cole to back off. So Vega, they get a couple towers under their belts, yet the Aegis timer for now, though it is allowing Vega to make these plays, and it's really the catalyst behind everything, it hasn't really been in much danger, and if you're Vega, you want to be getting rid of this Aegis as fast as possible.
Yeah, GG has picked up a Maelstrom now, so perhaps if he drops a Chrono mid, they can kill off 2 with the Mystic Flare and his own damage underneath the Chrono. But a little bit worried. Bottom lane, Tron will be able to jump on Milan. He's going to have to pop the Shadow Dance here in order to back out. Shards will be flying wayward, and he will be able to make it back to the base, but it does bait out that ultimate and is down for another 50 seconds. Not the biggest deal on a Slark, but it will allow Vega to posture up pretty aggressively towards this middle tower. However, Ice Blast is flying in from the north, and it will be able to connect onto no one. He's not able to phase shift that original hit. Chronosphere does go out onto pachebashu on the high ground. Ice Shards will be there to help him back things off, but the one right click is there from GG just before the snowball hits. He'll be able to time walk out to the left, and it's like Cole jumping in mid lane. Milan, though, he's being jumped onto by Tron. He'll be brought down under the medallion, and the jaunt out from the puck will keep him safe. Cole having to zip up to the high ground. Shards will be there to block off his retreat path, but he will be able to zip down to the left. Swap back from Seema onto Mitch. He'll bring him very low, but he gets Ancient sealed up, and GG is going to take a Waning Rift to the face, and the clap is there under the Mask of Madness as well. GG getting a little bit too aggressive. Ice Blast going to connect, though, onto no one. He'll shatter, and well placed there from Lizard. However, overall, 3 for 1 going the way of Vega in the mid lane. They'll be able to bring down this tier 2 without the Glyph available and the Chronosphere down.
Was also a buyback, though, used by the Brewmaster for the upteenth time in this game. The Brewmaster was unable to use his split, mostly because he was dead by the time he actually wanted to use it, and that doesn't really help. So Brewmaster going to fall yet again, and it's just another one of those fights where if you have the Brewmaster ultimate, you are going to be taking it. Like, at this point, it's probably not going to be 100% you're going to win the fight. It's going to be, you know, like 80% you win the fight, but I still like those odds if you're the Brewmaster player. But pachebashu's unable to use his ultimate, and Vega pretty much hamstrung by the fact that their biggest tool in this game is not going to be available to them. So, though they're still taking the fights rather well, I feel like if they're going to have to take it a little bit better, else they should just try to back off and, you know, play a little bit more of a slower game. Stop going for these forced team fights and just try to take it a little bit late. It's probably not what they want to do. It's like the worst case scenario for them, but it's slowly becoming to a point where they have to be taking much better fights than what they're taking right now if they actually want to be winning the game. Because at this point, with their current lineup and their current itemization, they should be, you know, cleared out all the tier 2 towers by this point and starting to think about Raxes.
Yeah, it looks like Seema is looking toward this cliff here, but was briefly scouted out by Lizard, so that should be dewarded promptly here after. Cole going to be able to zip back to base. But yeah, as you mentioned, they need to take better engagements, and not only that, make some better decisions. GG running forward there. He could have backed off into the clap, but looking to find that kill on Seema's Vengeful Spirit as he rotates out. He feeds his life over, and if they only lose Milan, Slark, and pick up the Brew and the puck there, it definitely would have been a favorable trade from mYi, but losing both of their cores, definitely not something you want to do in that scenario. Either way, 27.5 minutes to in 18 to 14 is your score in the favor of mYi. They have a slight net worth lead in the way of 3k and pretty much a negligible experience lead, about at even at this point. Roshan not spawning for another 3 minutes. Actually, it's a short spawn, so about just a minute now.
All right, so we got a very short spawn for Roshan, and that's going to be very nice for Vega. If it was one of the longer spawns, then their plans are going to be all messed up. But now it's going to be a time where they will, you know, be able to, hopefully for the Brewmaster, get his split a little bit of value while they set up for a fight around Roshan. It'll involve probably no one pushing out the top lane, and then Tron is going to be pushing down the bottom lane. Make sure all the lanes are pushed, then jump towards that pit. Maybe they're not going to expect this Roshan to be up so early because, you know, what are the chances of it being up so early? It never happens the way you really want it to if you're Vega, but they should be prepping that right now. Another Aegis with the ability to take a team fight that they still are capable of. It's going to, once again, be another chance for them to, at the very least, take a tier 2 tower. Like, that should be the very bare minimum of their goals at this stage, but it seems like they're not going to be scouting the Roshan very diligently. Lizard, he's going to prep Chilling Touch, but he will not be able to connect to pachebashu. AA, he just wanted to farm because he's also very close to his Aghanim Scepter. And once he gets that, man, it's going to be really bad for Vega.
Yeah, that'll be a very nice pickup, especially into the Chronosphere coming out from mYi. GG could look to find pachebashu here to the south, but no vision for them, and the Dire Vision here was scouting him out, so they were able to get themselves out of this one. And as you touched upon earlier, unfortunately for Vega, Pache really not able to find any influential splits, only the one in the Dire jungle, and that only bore the fruit of one Skywrath Mage kill, so they did run him out of the off lane, so not expecting him to be the bulk of their team fight, but certainly expecting a little bit more impact from these primal splits. He will pop the spell block onto Roshan, and it looks like Vega will aggress into the pit with the high ground vision available to them.
They got Lifesteal on Phantom Assassin, plus a Vengeful Spirit with Medallion on their team. This Roshan is not going to be long for life. My Insanity, though, they are right now fully aware of it as the Ice Cannon comes in. Tron no longer with that Lifesteal, but the Sigil also is a ridiculous Roshing tool because Roshan just doesn't attack ever.
Yeah.
And if you're up against a Phantom Assassin, then he's not going to hit ever as Roshan. So My Insanity, they're going to buy themselves quite a bit of time with just the Ice Blast coming in. We have a double damage rune spawning. That's a huge rune to grab for either side. Milan is going to jump in, grab that one, save it for later. And Vega, I mean, they could probably take a fight still. Even in the Roshan pit, you don't really want to be fighting up against a Chronosphere and Ice Blast.
Right.
Now that there's a DD rune on Milan, they can't do it.
Yeah, definitely so. They could, with the DD rune, they could probably kill off this PA even underneath the BKB. So definitely not something that they want to fight headlong into, but they will look to smoke and perhaps find a pick off. Milan is in the pit currently. Not sure if they saw him walk in there. Looks like their high ground ward was dewarded here by Mitch. So Ice Shards will scout him out briefly, and they will look to wrap around to the south. They may find the retreating Slark and Mitch Skywrath Mage without most of their lineup here. He needs to Shadow Dance quickly, and he will be able to do so. Coil is there onto 2, however. Illusory Orb gonna roll through as well. Snowball comes through. They'll kill off Mitch first. Walrus Punch onto Milan with the split. They'll take him down. GG is gonna drop from being Cyclone. Not gonna be willing to expend that Chronosphere, and he'll get crit up. Magic Missiles there as well. He'll be brought down. Pashe Bashu finding a double kill, and finally an influential split going the way of Vega. They'll find an easy Roshan off this one as well. Ice Blast will fly through. It's going to connect on mostly everyone. Only the chilling effect on Pashe Bashu though, and he was pretty much the only one that could have been killed off there. That was an Aghanim's AA blast coming out from Lizard, but not going to kill anyone off, in a big trade going Vega's way.
Turns out that Brewmaster Ultimate is actually really good. Like, he was able to respond to the Faceless Void's jump in. He had an opportunity there, I think, for the Void to get a 2-man chrono, though he jumped in and got stunned by something. I'm not really sure what happened. I just saw like a minor stun there, and then he was thrown up into the air with the air aspect and storm aspect. So the Faceless Void had pretty much 0 uptime, and that's really the cost of his build. He's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter, and he's pretty close to it, I want to say. He actually has it on the Courier. It's a nice item to have, but in these type of situations, you really want a BKB. So the Faceless Void getting 100% shut down, whereas the Brewmaster this time getting his job done more or less perfectly means that Vega now have another shot at making something big happen. A little bit more net worth for all their heroes. The BKB now up on the Brewmaster. Going to mean it's a little bit easier for him to make those plays moving forward. And Vega, they still have another chance at this type of push, but my Insanity, they weren't even all there. Of course, the Ancient Apparition at this point doesn't really want to be there ever, but where was Cole during all that? They didn't really expect that fight to happen, my Insanity, and they got blindsided.
Yeah, it was just some good movement from Vega and a little bit uncautious there from the Slark, and unfortunately with that DD rune, he was brought down early, was Milan, running into that smoke gank. So definitely a smart idea of coming out from Vega. As you mentioned, they pick up the DD rune, and mYi willing to back off, spread out, and farm, thinking that they're safe from any engagements from Vega, as they won't want to engage into that DD, but splitting up and being picked off. Skywrath Mage and Slark going down really early, and perhaps that's the reason Cole doesn't commit to that. But GG time walking in, getting cycloned up, and then isolated and brought down. Very, very terrible engagement for them. Vega coming back in the way of kills, but definitely a big spike in the way of net worth. You'll see the graphs drop from over a 3k lead to now a very slight lead going Vega's way.
Yeah, Vega, they killed all the right heroes, and that was, you know, even with the Slark packing a DD rune, though, it was mostly just Vega taking overwhelming number odds, and when that happens, they're going to be hard-pressed to win that fight. This puck is actually remarkably close to a sheepstick, if not, does he already have it? My math fails me right now. Let's say he has it, pretty much has it. So having that is just as another answer to the BKB list Slark, the BKB list Storm Spirit, and of course the Faceless Void as well. So that's another huge item that Vega are going to have to work with in the next couple of minutes. They have actually a route of Atos being built up by the Vengeful Spirit. That's an interesting pickup. I don't think I've seen a Vengeful Spirit go for that one in a very long time. It's not really that great
No,
against
it's
what
not good.
mYi had.
It's not good against any hero except for the Skywrath Mage. But either way, yeah, Void can time walk out. You get the zip out. You got Shadow Dance, Dark Pact. So yeah, against the supports, it's not bad, but a little bit of an odd item there. Definitely would have expected a Force Staff or something of that nature instead. But either way, yeah, the Orchid hasn't been used at all from Cole. So despite that being picked up in a timely manner, we really haven't seen any fruit from it, and no one does have the Yules to purge it off. There's the BKB now available for the Brewmaster, as well as the BKB that's been here for the PA, which is currently sitting at 8 seconds, so still very healthy length there for the PA, and Vega should be able to take engagement pretty soon off the back of this Aegis. The Primal Split up in 80 seconds, so perhaps they wait for that to cue the next team fight.
And also they're not healthy at all in the mid lane. Like, they should really just go back and heal right now, clear their jungle, grab an Ancient Stack, something along those lines before they think about actually making a really dedicated push in. Of course, they kind of want to go right now because, well, mYi, they have a whole bunch of dead heroes, and you have a 5 versus 2, but this is not the time to do it. 600 HP on the Brewmaster with no split is really, really pointless. So we have the resume, and I don't really know if this is banter or what, but we're going to get this game underway either way, and yeah, Vega, they're going to be forced back. They can't really push in with the numbers advantage that they have, and that's a little bit unfortunate. If you take a fight like that, you generally want to take an objective shortly thereafter.
Yeah, certainly so, and unfortunately they won't be able to do so. They do get the Roshan, so not bad, but Cole going to jump in mid lane, and he will be able to find the solo kill onto Seema. He'll actually pick up the last hit there. That's a nice charge onto his Bloodstone. Was just going to mention how he picks up that Bloodstone, and what at the time was only 4-2-1 on this Storm Spirit. So now 5-2-1, only involved in 6 of the 19 kills of mYi, and you definitely want a little bit more activity coming out from your Storm Spirit. So unfortunately for Cole, just hasn't been in the right place at the right time for most of this one, as the bot lane will be pushed in by no one, and as you mentioned, he picks up that full Hex now, so we will see that available to Vega in the next engagement, and that'll be huge up against especially Cole's Storm Spirit.
The Blink Hex and that Storm Spirit is pretty much dead, especially if you have Silence following Milan. Gonna dodge our Z4 now, but they now see GG. Now this is a premium kill for Vega to take. They lose their Brewmaster, but they don't really care because they have a much bigger target on their hands. They're gonna jump in for GG. The Hex is there, but the backtracks are also the real deal for GG. He's gonna get snowballed, has an opportunity to Chronosphere, but he gets bashed. And Phantom Assassin's gonna claim Faceless Void. I think the PA also just got 1 crit there, so kind of unlucky rolling from Tron. And yeah, they know that that kill was very, very close, but they kill out the Faceless Void, and that is going to be the trigger to start things off. Brewmaster, though, dying is going to put a crimp in Vega's ability to fight, but they need their Brewmaster a lot less than the mYi side need their Faceless Void.
Yeah, they work around Chronosphere and Yule Scepter out top lane onto Mitch. Nice phase shift there from no one as well. Will avoid the impact, but still gets hit with the chill effect on the way through. He'll be able to hex up Milan, but Dark Pact is there, pounce as well. He will be able to get out. Snowball not going to be quite in range to land on him. Mid lane though, Tron has been aggressed on by Cole, but with the BKB, he's really not worried. He's also got the Aegis. Just going to stand in his front lines, put some harass into this tower, and still 15 seconds until that Faceless Void is up. So it looks like they'll take this tier 2 and look to back off.
He also has that Centaur with him, which no longer has any aura or anything like that, so it's pretty much just anti-Storm Spirit Centaur right there. Like, he jumps in, but you just instantly mash that Hoof Stomp button, and you get a little bit of protection. I don't really know how useful that is in the grand scheme of things, but it's pretty cool. So, Centaur Conqueror going to be providing Tron with a little bit of protection, as he's now going to be more or less a ward, which is, you know, probably a little more realistic to expect from Centaurs, but still, the 2-minute timer is there for Tron. And Vega, I mean, they got a little bit done. They took down the tier 2 tower. They got a couple of kills and everything like that. But this Aegis, I fear, once again, is just not going to be doing much for the Vega side.
Yeah, pretty much just denying it up from mYi thus far. They will heal up no one at the base. They do have the Primal Split at the ready as well as the Coil, so they can look to fight here. But top lane, yeah, they are going to jump in onto our Zeke, and that'll be Cole getting up some charges on his Bloodstone. He's now at 11 and should be able to zip TP here. He will zip to the north, definitely electing to make a good choice there, and he will be able to remove himself from any peril. So that's a nice pick off, and that'll stave off any ability Vega had to push underneath this Aegis timer. 30
seconds on the sideline for that Tusk. Not really the most important hero right now, but Vega, they're still going to do what they can up towards the top lane because of the power of the Phantom Assassin puck at this stage. If they open up with someone on the Hex, then they're pretty much dead, as we've already seen. Cole and GG, though, I mean, these guys have so much initiation range that it's going to be hard for Vega to get the response that they really want. GG on the front lines now, and he's not really going to expect all the Vega heroes to still be here, but now they're all revealed, so that's going to be clear as day. Tron grabs an Abyssal Blade, and we also have Milan, who's cutting the creep wave right now. Vega, they don't really have any answers to this. I mean, the Tusk is coming in, but he's not going to be able to do jack to that Slark, and in fact, Slark actually might, just cut another creep wave. He's not doing anything. He just wants to run away. Okay, that's fine too. The rest of Vega, though, they're assembling up towards the top. This tower push is going to result in the fight, I think. The Chronosphere just itching to be used right now with that Aghanim Scepter. You might as well throw it out and see what you could get. They're not going to defend it, actually. They're just going to sack it.
Yeah, without a BKB, the Hex reaction from no one can kill off GG pretty quickly, so... Yeah, as you mentioned, he really does need a BKB in most of these situations, and GG not going to be willing to aggress forward without it. He does have that Aghanim Scepter, so can hit not your biggest or most influential chrono, but if it garners them at least a favorable trade, it definitely is worth it. A little bit obvious to say, but either way, he can connect on one or two heroes as long as it bears fruit for them. They will smoke up with Milan, Mitch, and GG thus far. Can definitely find a solo kill in this mid lane. Perhaps it may be the most crucial target, and with the Mystic Flare, jump in Chronosphere, Ice Blast there as well. It isn't gonna land though. BKB gonna be popped. Abyssal Blade, huge crit coming out from Tron, and he'll bring down the Faceless Void as well. Mitch gonna be Walrus punched into the air, and they will get the clap out onto Milan. Shards will be able to block off his retreat. Huge win for Vega. 2 buybacks available on both the Slark as well as the Void, but no chrono available now for another 30 seconds, and this should be easily a tier 3 at least in the mid lane for Vega.
And it's going to be the job of the Vengeful Spirit pretty much every single time to be making those plays, but you just can't really understate the importance of the Vengeful Spirit in these types of situations. This is why teams first pick this hero, because she is able to bail your most important hero out of the most deadly of situations. And just like that, because mYi no longer have a Chronosphere to fight with, they're going to be struggling to mount a defense. This melee Rax is pretty much doomed to fall. The Brewmaster using his split just as a zoning tool, which at this point I think is reasonable, because they're going to grab the Rax. Our Zeke, though, going to get pulled back. He's not going to be the lucky one to escape. He's going to drop. And also the Brewmaster, he's going to have to blink out of it very quickly, but he's not going to be able to stick the landing. He will just try to TP out, but he gets bashed. And now it's suddenly going to be Vega on the defensive. They took the melee Rax, but the crackback for mYi can certainly get quite a bit.
Yeah, the Ice Blast will fly out, not going to connect on anyone as most of Vega retreated to the east. But either way, definitely a nice little trade back for mYi. They don't have to expend any buybacks either, so Cole doing a little bit of work on the Storm Spirit to delay things out. Milan is looking for a pickoff, and he will run into no one here, but no one very survivable with that Eul Scepter as well as the Hex. He'll be able to phase shift, blink out. And they will take this tier 2 pretty much unabated at this point with the Brewmaster down as well as the Tusk. No buybacks for either of them. Zip forward from Cole is there, but no one able to remove himself from any danger, and they'll just bring down a tier 2 and back off. So nice trade back for mYi, but still losing their melee Rax and their tier 3. Certainly worth it for Vega.
They're going to just be waiting for everyone to respond. Their split timer is up in 15 seconds. If they wanted to, they could go for another sort of push right now. Roshan, I thought before was at 5 minutes, so it should be about 2 minutes, I think, if until the Roshan is going to come back alive, although it's not really clear right now. Vega are going to be just itching to make that play. They're going to scout GG up on the high ground, gets hexed immediately. There's an Abyssal there if they need it, but they don't even need it. The Faceless Void is going to die, and now we have the Slark awkwardly in the middle of this fight. EKBs pop from Vega. They're going to only get 1 kill on the Faceless Void, but I mean, that's the most important kill, or one of the most important kills for them to grab, and just like that, they have another opportunity to make a push in. I don't really know what the Faceless Void is doing there without BKB. If you're going to be positioned in that spot, you need to have either your entire team behind you or a BKB TP prepped, and yeah, neither of those were the case.
Yep, and he's got no buyback for 50 seconds, so this will be easily the middle lane of Rax, and perhaps even tier 4s if Vega is willing to try and end this early. There is 40 seconds on the sideline for this Void, and they still have quite a bit of what they have to offer in terms of their team fight. Ice Blast will fly out mid lane, is going to connect onto Tron, as well as no one able to dodge that. Cole zipping from behind, looking for the courier. He'll be able to bring that down. Was a gem on that courier, but not the biggest deal for Vega. Either way, Void is back up in 15 seconds with the chrono in tow, so it looks like Vega will be content to just finish off that mid lane and back off the back of that Void pickup, and the zip to the high ground from Cole will keep him safe for the time being as well.
And, you know, we've spent so long in this game talking about how the Brewmaster ultimate just hasn't really been there, but for the past couple of engagements, mYi have not really fought a team fight. Like, there's so much value on the Storm Spirit that's pretty much just going to waste. Like, he has so many Bloodstone charges, he really wants to die and, you know, respawn with that and get some serious value, but that's also not happening. The Chronosphere combo on the PA wasn't even enough, and just the entirety of the mYi team fight hasn't happened in the past couple minutes. It's just been Vega getting picks up to this point. So mYi, they are still itching to make a team fight happen right now, and they're getting very, very powerful, but if they get picked off this consistently, then it doesn't really matter the power level of their heroes, because they're always going to be on the defensive and all alone. They're going to jump way up to the top lane. No one in a hell of a lot of trouble right now is going to die to the Orchid, if nothing else. Cole is going to use the rest of that haste rune plus his insane mana regen to book it out of there, and I'm pretty sure he jumped up to that top lane from the river.
Yeah, he did, from the rune.
Yeah, there's not many places you could be if you're Vega, if you want to stay safe.
Yeah, and he's standing in a fountain at this point with 14 Bloodstone charges. Has picked up his side device as well. Does have that gem that he picked off from that courier, and they will look to find more off the back of this, but everyone from Vega postured up very defensively, and they will lose their tier 2. However, they may be able to melt this Roche down. They do have the Vengeful Spirit here as well as the Sigil, and the PA absolutely hitting like a truck. So Roche will be traded over for their tier 2, and their tier 2 was already sitting in deny range or roughly thereabouts. So definitely a nice trade for Vega after losing their puck.
Cheese on the Brewmaster, Aegis on Tron right now. And Vega, they need their puck alive if they're going to be doing anything. Puck is actually going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter. It has that one completed. I'm generally on the fence about Aghanim Scepter, but the swap combo is there if they really want to do that. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit fancy, but it does do its work when you actually can land it. So overall, it's an okay item for Puck, I think, in general, just because it's so inconsistent. But I think the bigger issue, or the bigger item pickup for Vega, is going to be the fact that their Phantom Assassin is sitting on the Assault Cuirass Gold. A little more attack speed for her, and hell, if mYi couldn't kill her the first time with Mystic Flare combo with Chronosphere, they sure as hell can't kill her this time. She's going to be able to, you know, give Vega, first of all, a lot more pushing power, and I think that's really what they're looking for. They need that pushing power. They need to be able to take a second set of Raxes, because they're still going to end up in a late game situation against a Slark, a really, really stacked Storm Spirit, and a really big Faceless Void. It's something you would rather want to avoid.
Yeah, I guess the Aghanim's pickup from the puck is to anticipate the BKBs that will come out eventually. Milan looks like he's building into that one. One does now come out as we speak for GG. So definitely somewhat of a decent pickup for the puck, but probably won't see GG be snapping that, as he probably will look to jump in for a chrono under the cover of his BKB. And Milan, unfortunately, not really found too much traction under his heels in this one. He's sitting overall now at 6th on the net worth, still underneath the Brewmaster, and is still quite a ways away from that BKB. It needs the full recipe and does need to save for buyback at this point. We'll take a look at the buyback situation real quickly, and for the Radiant side, nobody except Cole's Storm Spirit and the Ancient Apparition from Lizard do have the buyback available.
And Cole, I'm pretty sure, isn't even going to need it because he'll respawn so damn quickly. So
yeah,
mYi, they are pretty much as prepared as they can be for this push, as are Vega. Milan off to the side is going to start working on that Sigil, which is a pretty important scouting tool for Vega, but at the same time, it's going to be so important to deal with the Faceless Void's attack speed and the Storm Spirit's attack speed as well. Tron, he's going to call out the Mystic Flare and the slow from the Rod of Atos. Now silenced up. He's going to turn around though. Crit Milan down. He's going to get away. No, he won't. Shadow Dance even killed within that. Now Tron going to go for more. Huge crit onto the Ancient Apparition, going to annihilate him in one stroke. Cole in the middle of this fight, but he can't do everything by himself. He needs his team behind him. He's going to try to go for no one. You'll start going to die that. Now the Chronosphere happens, but it's a little bit too late because everyone on my side is pretty much already dead. Swap out from no one. Not going to matter because of the Shadow Effect. Tron still stuck in this Chronosphere area, and he will be brought down. Pasha Bashu will resume his main form right now. Has not enough mana for much, but he will pop the keys and will continue to fight. Tron though, gonna fight to the death. Here comes Arzeek with Snowball, Wall Punch available as well. Tron dropping very low, not enough time to get more lifesteal off, and Arzeek should be dropping as well. Pasha Bashu gonna try to TP out, will make it out alive. It's gonna be a triple kill for Cole. Had to buy back there, lost a couple of Bloodstone charges in the process. Vega getting a pretty nice fight, but the Faceless Void Chronosphere, though it was very, very late, it did come out in time. mYi had to spend so much cash to make that defense, though. That was 3 buybacks.
Yeah, that was incredible that they were able to bring down the PA. I guess the BKB duration not so long at this point. I believe it was 6 seconds for that engagement, and unfortunately they bring her down early with that Mystic Flare, and they're able to pop the Aegis for little to no commitment. So they are able to bring down that second life fairly easily, and a lot of work done by Cole Storm Spirit in that one. So finally we see the fruits of his labor translate into some kills, and he's got a 3,800 gold in addition to this Scythe of Ice Orchid Bloodstone, and as you mentioned, still has 13 charges on that Bloodstone, so still looking pretty good overall. And Vega do take quite a hit there, only for a tier 3, but as you mentioned, 3 buybacks expended from the side of mYi.
Next time Vega want to make that defense, they won't have the Aegis Cheese, but they will have fewer heroes on the enemy end to deal with. Pretty sure Vega will still be willing to make that play, but still, mYi, they're getting some pretty big items up. We got the Faceless Void with the BKB fresh from the store, or rather fresh. Storm Spirit has 3,900 gold. He could get pretty much whatever he wants. At this point, if you're Cole, you're probably going to be looking to just get a lot of damage just so you could, in theory, 1 versus 5 the entire team, or at least get as close as you possibly can to that point. Like, your mana regeneration probably isn't going to be getting that much better from here on out, so you might as well grab some damage. And mYi, they are slowly but surely losing their structures. Again, tier 3 isn't really the most influential of buildings at this stage in the game, so Vega, they have 1, maybe 2 more chances at really trying to go aggressive and cracking the space. Phantom Assassin, she is going to get very close to being 6-slotted, but Lifesteal not really going to be doing that much up against the Ancient Emperor. He's going to try to get a pick up onto Milan. The Abyssal Blade is there. Milan not getting crit down, though. Here comes the response from the rest of mYi. Tron is going to drop very low. He will go down. Also, no one double silence. He will lose himself in the air, canceling off all that, but he'll fall right back into a whole bunch of heroes. Here comes RZ, Xema, and Pachibashi. They're going to try to reinforce by killing off Cole, but he's so tanky right now, he will slip away. Milan, in the meantime, is going to also try to run away. No one will pick him off in the end, as split does happen, throwing up the Faceless Void up into the air while trying to go for Mitch at the exact same time. Mitch will force staff himself away. I don't really know if he can make that landing stick, but GG in the meantime. Going to try to go for the Vengeful Spirit. Will instead settle for the puck, but the Phase Shift is there just in time for the Chronosphere. Cole's going to zip right through the Chronosphere. Where the hell is that puck? Got out of there in time, actually. Now GG going to try to go for Seaman. Here comes the Ice Blast, but it's a little bit too late to save the Faceless Void. Will not be lethal on no one either. They also see Cole. No one has got to be so careful right now. He's going to get silenced. He's going to get annihilated. No, Seema's going to bail out one more time. Seema, no, he won't actually, just because of Cole's damage output, stickiness of the Storm Spirit. He's going to try to TP out here. RZ needs this Walrus Punch to cancel it. He will get it out. I think the corpse is in the base. Yes, it is.
Yeah, he
so
died
he
in
kind
base.
of got out, but not really enough. Buyback from
Gem
the
on the deck
There
as
is
well.
a buyback available for the Phantom Assassin. Do Vega want to buy out and try to make an Alpha Strike right here? It seems like they don't.
Yeah, it's only 30 seconds on most of these heroes. They are going to take a while without boots of travel to get down. They have no tier 1 towers, only the tier 2 available in this offlane, so it would take them quite a while to walk towards the space, and they won't buy out on the PA, but she'll be up pretty soon, and they may be able to do a little bit of damage to this tier 3 before Cole is up. However, with that Bloodstone, he's responding very quickly. It looks like he's opted for a Shiva's Guard here on the Storm Spirit, so a little bit of armor against that PA, as well as some of the Brewmaster's right clicks and extra mana pool going the way of Cole's Storm Spirit. They will be able to take down this tier 3 to about 1/3 HP, and the Glyph is going to come out here. Void is up soon with the Chronosphere available, so I expect Vega to back off, but jump forward from no one. He'll hex up Milan. They will bring him pretty low, but jump forward from Cole is there as well. He'll get Wallace punched up, however, and the Storm Spirit's down for 59 seconds without buyback, and a little bit too overzealous from Cole's Storm Spirit there. Meanwhile, swap back onto the PA will keep him alive for now. Milan getting very low. Jump forward, crit from the PA. The Chronosphere will be onto 2. RZ, the first to fall. No one dropping low as well. He does have the Phase Shift available, but he'll get time locked down. Cold Feet will proc onto Seema as well. That's 3 kills going the way of the Void. And GG finding a triple kill here. Mitch gonna disconnect in the midst of the chaos. And the only one left standing for Vega is the Brewmaster. Buybacks are available on the Venge and the Tusk. But Puck down for 108 seconds. The PA for Tron down for 78. And this is looking very good for mY Insanity.
Yeah, the Phantom Assassin, she waited to respawn naturally, and she grabbed Travels. For all intents and purposes, that was her buying back. She is actually very close to a buyback right now. No towers are going to be falling, or nothing additional to give her a little bit more gold to grab that buyback.
Yeah.
She will have it in 40 seconds. I don't really know if you want to use it by then. It really depends on how much of a crackback mYi have. But uh, for Vega, I mean, they got caught in the Chronosphere, and the Chronosphere was it was very slow to come out. Their Phantom Assassin rather was also dropped very low just by the Slark and the Mystic Flare doing its damage there. So Phantom Assassin, you know, you can see all of her skills or all of her items rather are on cooldown, at least the ones that matter. Yet even with that, she is far from invulnerable at this stage in the game. So mYi, it's not really the cleanest defense. They lose the Storm Spirit immediately. Their Slark is not going to have a great time in that fight either, but they just have so many cores, and this is the late game power that I'm talking about mYi. Their threat is spread out between so many heroes,
Yeah.
whereas for Vega, if you take out the Phantom Assassin, you really don't have that much to worry about afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they won that fight without Cole. So as you mentioned, they have this tricore of the Slark Storm and the Faceless Void, and really, Brewmaster and Puck begin to fall off slowly as the game progresses. And without this Brewmaster really building into his heavy right click, he has picked up an Ultimate Orb, so perhaps looking for a Hex of his own. He's not too scary at this point, and neither is the Primal Split. And a big influential chrono like that hit from GG, and that's pretty much going to win the team fight, especially when you have that AA Ice Blast with the Aghanim's upgrade to overlap on top of it. And they'll pick up a gem here as well from the side of mYi, and Pashe Bashu should be next to fall. He's going to perhaps try for another optimistic TP here. His blink is already on to cooldown, so he should be the last to fall here, and that will be an ultra kill going GG's way. 3,100 gold on the Void as well. He'll be able to complete up the Mjolnir if that's what he opts to do, and I certainly would expect that to be his choice for now with the BKB already available to him.
All right, so the Brewmaster has a chance to Drunken Haze the Void, and then with the insane mischance that Drunken Haze offers, plus Drunken Brawler evasion, I think he actually can TP out of here. Like, there is a chance.
Yeah.
Faceless Void's Mask of Madness is also running out, so he doesn't have that much attack speed. Pashu Bashu, I think actually the odds are in his favor.
Cold Feet is on cooldown for 2 seconds, so maybe if that was up, there's a chance he gets proc. But yeah, this TP is actually pretty possible here. He's got, what, 60% evasion overall between the two. Dodge chance 25 from Drunken Brawler, and the miss chance 75% from Drunken Haze. So yeah, pretty much 100% miss onto GG. Effectively, and yeah, he actually should be able to make it out. But either way, triple kill going GG's way. 3,200 gold available to him. Gonna need an early bash from GG in order for him not to get off that Drunken Haze.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Brewmaster is going to be fine, but obviously I have no idea. It doesn't really matter too much because the Brewmaster does have a buyback. He would rather not use it, obviously, but he will have that available to him. And Brewmaster, Venge, Tusk, all having buybacks. It's not really the strongest of heroes to fight with, but you know, mYi, their crackback doesn't really seem like it's going to be at large. It's just the Faceless Void, and as you said, Drunken Haze pretty good against a Void unless he wants to pop a BKB for that, which you most likely don't want to. So
yeah,
Vega, they aren't going to have to worry about any of their structures going down, but I don't really think that's their concern right now. They're taking all these tier 3s, a little bit of damage onto the melee Raxes, but that's not really going to be doing that much. They really need another set of Raxes right now, and I think at that point, it's almost GG in favor of Vega. At least it's a lot closer. But right now, this game is still up in the air. And mYi, if they take a better fight, slightly better fight next time, then they could grab this win.
Yeah, a slightly more convincing fight would definitely put them handily in the lead in this one. He will look for the Drunken Haze TP out. Cold Feet is going to be a little late, so as you mentioned, very smart play from Pashe Bashu. He'll make it out, and they could really use an MKB up onto GG. He's got 3,300 gold, so still would be quite a ways away from it. Ice Blast gonna fly out here from Lizard, but Pashe way more than healthy enough. Actually gonna leave the base now and look to farm on this Brewmaster.
Hell, mYi need BKBs on MKBs on everyone. Like, you're up against a Phantom Assassin with Blur. That in of itself should mean you want to get an MKB going up against the Brewmaster in addition to that. And I mean, the item selection should be pretty clear. The Slark, Storm Spirit, and the Faceless Void should all want to grab that. Storm Spirit going for a little bit more physical survivability is decent up against what Vega are packing right now, but an MKB on anyone and everyone of mYi will just give them so much value. If you give an MKB, Pashu Bashu doesn't live there. Like, so many more right clicks land in those fights, and who knows what's going to happen off of those right clicks. So For the Vega side, they're going to wait another 40 seconds till their puck is online. Roshan going to be responding very shortly, in fact. This is actually Roshan that mYinsanity can grab if they were making a beeline for it right now.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have any vision of this area, so they're not going to know to do that. But if they were to do that, they could grab this Aegis before Vega are able to make a significant defense of that Roshan pit.
Why exactly are they playing without their Skywrath Mage? Trying to figure it out. Okay, Mitch reconnects now into the game, so that's good. They might need him for a fight. Regardless, mYi gonna do some split farming here, and they may catch out Bashu in the top lane if Cole's willing to zip forward, but not quite enough damage on this own with the full hex up on Pashe now as well. He's sitting pretty tanky, effectively 25% dodge chance as well as 2500 HP. He'll TP to the bot lane, and it looks like the Roshan dance will commence from both sides. Sigil scouting it out from the side of Vega, and they've got Tron sitting up in the Ancients here, farming those up as well. Invisibility rune, however, is on to GG, and the jump forward into the river from Cole. Not going to find anything quite yet, but not able to find a good Chronosphere off the back of that Faceless Void. Worried about the Vengeful Spirit being able to swap out the PA, and definitely wisely so. Milan going to be up to the high ground. He'll be able to Dark Pact and pounce away, though. Away from danger. Jump forward, clap. BKB pop there. Abyssal Blade onto GG. Primal Split is there. They'll bring him down quickly. He'll instantly buy back. Ice Blast not going to hit on anyone. BKB pop from Cole, but the Snowball will be there to dodge it from Zeke. And the Coil completely going to whiff from the puck here. And this engagement is totally spread out. Mitch going to be bursted down. Cole trying to go on one. He'll find Zeke as well. Chronosphere does come in from the GG Void, but they'll hex up Tron in the Chronosphere. They'll bring him down very low. He will not have his BKB for this, and he does drop down. GG doing a lot of work into the puck as well, and the medallion has been popped here from Seema the Slayer. He'll throw a magic missile into GG, but the blink out from the puck will leave the Vengeful Spirit totally isolated here. GG able to bring him down. No one to the north, however. They are losing their tier 4s, and their Ancient is being attacked. Now triple kill going the Storm Spirit's way. They will bring back Milan in order to defend their base. Instant 2 buybacks from the Brewmaster and the PA. They've got Boots of Travel on this PA, and a TP down from Pashe Bashu as well. They're going to look to defend this Roshan, and Pashe Bashu will jump into the pit alongside Tron, and everyone too low from the side of mYi to defend this, so this will be a Roshan going the way of Vega. And Cole is available with his BKB in 7 seconds to jump in. He will jump to the high ground. He'll get the clear vision off from the Spirit. He's going to look to zip in and steal this. No, he'll get his silenced up by no one and hexed as well. And he will be Yuled up into the air. Should be able to ball away. He'll actually have to pop his BKB here. So waste his 8-second charge, but should be able to back off just fine. And unfortunately for Cole, not able to find the steal there. They do lose their tier 4, so albeit a decent engagement for mYi, they've already used their buyback on GG's Void, and they're going to be very worried about him being picked off in this next engagement.
So I've never personally seen the Phantom Strike into getting stuck in the trees because Phantom Strike screws you over play from Tron, but if he didn't have that happen to him, if he, like maybe the positioning was a little bit different, who knows? He could have very quickly dealt with that Storm Spirit after that Hex, but that really just wasn't going to be the case that when the Phantom Strike screws you over. Regardless, mYinsanity, they have everyone alive right now. Vega, they're packing the Aegis and they're packing the cheese. They got the double scythe. BKB is up on everyone, or available to everyone, and they're going to go in for an attempt at another set of Raxes right now. Their Revenge is going to be incoming soon. Here comes Cole, big zip in. He's going to go through everyone, then TP away. He has so much of a mana pool that he can afford to do this, no problem. Just costs him a little bit of gold. GG going to jump forward. Not going to throw that Chronosphere because there's no one there any longer. And Vega, they're not really healthy right now. I honestly don't think they could make this play, even though they really, really want to. They need to get back up to full HP, and it looks like they will base right now. The push can wait for a little while longer. They still have the Aegis and Cheese. They still have the mid lane pushing in. Now the tier 4s are down. mYinsanity, they're going to have to, most of the time, put one person just hugging the Ancient just so that they don't outright lose the game to creeps in the mid lane. Vega, they're in still an okay position, and mYinsanity, though, in their entire mid lane is gone, but they still can win this game just because of the power of their heroes.
Yeah, and this will allow the cooldown to recover here from the Faceless Void in terms of his buyback, but only about 40 seconds later, the buybacks from the PA and the Brewmaster will be available as well, albeit they are short of gold all three of them, so not the biggest deal. And as you mentioned, Age is still up for a little while here for Vega, so they will look to regroup as the Ball Lightning and Ice Blast did bring them pretty low as a unit, and they are going to group as 5 in their own jungle for now. Doesn't look like any items are going to be picked up anytime soon for their lineup, but they will look to push their lanes out and then perhaps aggress towards this top lane exposed racks.
Alright, so they're going to try their luck on the top lane. I mean, I guess bottom lane didn't really go too well. Range racks on top a little bit weaker. It kind of does make sense. It doesn't really matter too much since you're probably not going to be just suiciding for range racks, so it's not going to make the hugest difference in the world. But the fact of the matter is they want to go for another attempted Doom push. Cole, though, has a buyback. Milan has a buyback as well, even though the Slark at this point really isn't too threatening. Like, he doesn't have that much in the way of items. Just having another body on the front lines to take HP, to do a little bit of damage, to regenerate a little bit with Shadow Dance, to just distract, is maybe going to make the difference there. But Vega, this is one of their last chances that they have, or at least one of the better chances that they have. They're going to go straight for the range racks. Tron's going to make short work of that one before hits there. Big zip in from the Storm Spirit, but this is going to be another one of those TP back plays. Milan, he's going to get hexed up just by the Brewmaster. Once again, he's on zoning duty, where Tron, he's untouched right now, just working on the racks as no one is getting anywhere close to him because the Brewmaster's handling everyone by himself. They cannot kill this Brewmaster outright without using a Chronosphere, and they really don't want to do that, so the top rack's is going to go down. Milan and Cole now right back into this fight. They're going to try to go for someone, but Tron's going to jump right in. Has the Abyssal Blade still active? If not for a Leap Stick, slowing him down right now. But Milan, Cole, they're not actually killing anyone. Now the Chronosphere onto 3, though. Tron in a lot of trouble. He has the Aegis. Seema Slayer to take focus. No, Tron, no Seema. It's going to be Tron ultimately, which GG lands on, but he's going to get Abyssal right afterwards. Now he's going to be brought down. Tron's still alive from his life steal. Cole's going to get crit down. He's going to die. 55 seconds on the sidelines. Has a buyback. Here comes the Brewmaster. Going to travel right back in. Drop the cheese for Tron, but he doesn't even need it. Tron, he's going to deal with Cole once again. So many ball landings, but he gets Sheep Stick one more time. Big life steal and big crits from Tron. Gonna instead go for Milan. Will get that kill. Ice Blast, though, will take out the Aegis, and will take out Bashu's life. But it's still fine because the Phantom Staff is going to be back. Seeing the Slayer, not going to be as lucky. He's going to drop soon enough as Tron. Going to try to go for Liz with the BKB now up fresh. He's going to pop that one once again, try to go for GG, but he's completely surrounded by enemy heroes right now. Will get Sheep to start things off. Lots of physical damage and a lot of magical damage to boot. He can't land any hits on anyone. Tron will go down. That's going to be another set of Raxes in favor of Vega. An ultra kill for Mitch of all heroes. And the game still isn't quite over. Vega, they have no buybacks, but mYi, they can't crack back. They just don't have enough power right now. They have to be on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, Cole can like buy Boots of Travel and TP to this bottom lane where they do have a big wave of momentum there, but Arzik gonna respawn soon and they need to clear out their own base. 11 Bloodstone charges up on Cole. Ultra kill going the way of the Skywrath Mage. Hilarious indecisiveness coming out from GG in the chrono there. He probably should have just stuck to one target, but either way, was a huge chrono for the team. And a very big Ice Blast as well for Lizard onto 2, bringing down the Brewmaster and the Aegis. And well played there by mYi. Only buybacks available in the game right now are the Vengeful Spirit, the Puck for Vega, and the Ancient Apparition for the side of mYi. So everyone pretty worried about overextending at this point. Milan, with his Shadow Dance passive movement speed, though, will be able to push back out this bottom lane. And E-Blade is going to be one-shot bot here by Mitch after that ultra kill.
Hey, you might as well, man. Like, he does have a buyback, actually, so maybe that was a bad decision. But the dream, of course, if you're able to burst someone down instantly as Skywrath Mage, you did your job and then some. Like, that's a lot more than any team would expect from their Skywrath Mage an hour into this game. So if the Skywrath Mage is able to make that land as hard as that's going to be, it's going to be huge. Ball landing in from Cole, going to go straight for the Puck, but Puck will dodge a lot of that damage with Phase Shift. Then Cole going to use the rest of his mana pool to get away. Now out of mana, now he's going to get sheeped up. Cole's in a lot of trouble, actually. There's a Magic Missile. Milan, though, can't quite get into help the Storm Spirit out. He will get down to the low ground, and he should be A-okay. Milan, unable to continue the chase. No one actually stuck in an awkward position right now. He's going to Yule Scepter dodge most of the damage from the Mystic Flare. Will also blink out of that Ancient Apparition ult. Now he's going to try to go for Mitch, who force taps himself down towards the Brewmaster, who's going to have a chance to get Lizard and Mitch, and instead going to settle just for Mitch. There's the Ethereal Blade on himself to buy himself a little more time, but that won't do jack. He's going to fall without buyback. 100 seconds. Skywrath Mage is down for the count, and Vega, they have all the heroes alive. They're ready to go right now. Maybe that Ethereal Blade wasn't the best purchase.
I mean, I understand it because it's also pretty good against the PA's target. And she jumps in, abyssal someone, and then you ethereal blade them defensively, and that staves off her aggression and does kind of thwart her phantom strike, extra attacks there. But yeah, sacrificing buyback for it, not sure about that. Jump forward from Cole, he's just going to do one of these. No, he actually jumps in for the Hex onto Arzik. Ice Blast is going to fly out as well. It's not going to land, however. GG does jump in with the Chrono, but the Snowball was there beforehand, and they'll be outside the periphery of it. They will pop the BKB and be able to bring down Seema here. Arzik next to fall as well. He pops his BKB, however, and is still alive. The BKB is up from Pashe Bashu, and they bring down the Void. He's got his buyback available. Milan able to dart back, pounce out. He'll be force staffed as well. Jump forward from Tron, but he doesn't get the Abyssal off. He's going to be cold feeted up. He will be able to crit down Lizard. No buyback available for the AA, and Vega looking to overrun the lineup of mYi. Chronosphere still down for 28 seconds. Milan looking to man up against Pashe Bashu. He'll be silenced up, however. Coil is there as well. He's going to try and Dark Pact off that stun. Will be able to do so. Gets back to the base. AA able to buy back now. He'll throw out the Ice Blast. Only going to land onto Tron, and that's a dieback for the Void. GG down for a long time here. Cold Feet not going to proc onto Pashe Bashu. Hex out onto Cole, but Cole will to pursue forward for the Brewmaster. He should be able to find him here. He does ball forward, and he gets him. And they will still keep their racks up. Zip forward from Cole onto Tron, and they'll bring down the PA as well. He does have buyback available, will expend it immediately. Look to Boots of Travel back into this one. Split committed from Pashe Bashu is going to look to try and zone everyone back as they take down these racks. Once again, Tron brought down, however. He TP's far too far forward, and Ethereal bladed up. Mystic Flare is there as well. They're going to bring down no one under the Ancient Seal. The Ancient getting so low at about 10% HP. They're able to clean up the Brewmaster. Brewlings, though, and Pashe Bashu going to try and BKB and pop the Ancient here. He's going to get Dark Pacted up, and he will be brought down. Yeah, he will. The Siege Creep's not there as well. Somehow, mYi clinging to their lives here in this one. And buyback expended from no one, but the Brewmaster and the PA down for over 100 seconds. Boots of Travel now picked up by Arzik. We'll look to see if he engages back into this one, but into 4 heroes. Not sure he's able to do much. However, the Ancient is extremely low, 150 HP. For mYi's Ancient at this point. Buybacks only available on the Tusk and the Vengeful Spirit, and they will amass towards the mid lane with no one. No one has a DD rune as well, and perhaps a couple of swipes onto this. Rax jump forward, Hex onto Milan. They'll be able to bring him very low. Swap back is through the Coil as well. Illusory Orb, Waiting Rift is there. They'll bring down Milan. BKB pop by Cole. He'll be able to Hex up no one. He doesn't have enough firepower, however, to bring him down. Ethereal Blade, Mystic Flare will be there, but dodged slightly by the Snowball by Arzik. He's getting very low, however, and a few more right clicks from Cole will be able to finish him off. Jump forward from no one onto Mitch. He will have to phase shift away from Cole, however. Cole is completely out of mana now and will not be able to chase down Seema, so it seems, especially with the Sigil there. He's going to catch a Magic Missile to the face. Seema going to try and TP out, will be able to do so, and no one going to back off for the time being. And someone's courier died with a lot on it. Radiant's courier with 3k worth of items on that. That's unfortunate. Ice Blast's going to fly out, not going to find no one, however, and he was anticipating it, phase shifting that.
Alright, well, that was Vega more or less going all in. You buy back on your Phantom Assassin, she immediately dies afterwards. Usually that's going to be a good game. The Brewmaster also made the exact same play. They wanted to end the game right there, and it didn't work. They could have lost racks there if not for that reinitiated fight by Vega. The double damage rune on the puck, invaluable in that fight, and it wasn't really a fight that they planned to win. Like, if you jump in with a Puck Venge and a Tusk, at this stage of the game, against the Storm Spirit, you're going to lose that fight. There is no two ways about it.
Rapier.
But the purpose of that fight was just to stall out for the Vega side to respawn, and that worked out so well. They only lost the Tusk overall in that engagement, and that fight might just have secured Vega another shot at outright winning this game. They're going to go for Roshan, which will drop before the Ice Blast can, first of all, scout them. We'll scout the smoke, actually. I don't really think that's going to matter too much, since the Mind Sanity should know what's coming towards them, but we have a Aegis on the Phantom Assassin, Cheese once again on the Brewmaster, though this time it's going to be up against the Storm Spirit with the Doctor. Divine Rapier is in the house right now, and Storm Spirit, I mean, he's had so many chances to get so many right clicks off. If more MKBs are up on Mind Sanity,
still
this
no
could be
MKB.
Such a different game.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now it's going to be maybe the last fight of the game. No one's going to start the else on the Hex on the perfect target. Can they bring down Cole? If they do, it's GG immediately. No, they're going to instead go for GG. They want to focus him down. No Chronosphere is going to be there as Cole really chasing the fight. Ball ending, being zipped every which way, but he can't actually do too much damage to anyone. Everyone from Vega slowly getting chipped down, but not fast enough. Blizzard's going to be the next one to fall as Tron dropping very low in the cross. As an Aegis, though, is going to go straight for Mitch right now. He's going to get force staffed out immediately, and he will be fine for a little while longer. Aegis now popped on the Phantom Assassin. They're going to go for Milan. He does not have a Shadow Dance. He will be brought down with the Walrus Punch, and they also take down the Scour's Maid in the meantime. Cole now fighting up against Bashu, but the evasion and dodge chance, it's way too much, and Cole, he's going to run out of mana. He's trying to get away from this fight. Will not get hit with the shards, but he still will be alive for right now. He will die, lose the Divine Rapier, and that's going to be GG.
What a game. Vega will be able to take down mYi. This means their hopes are still alive. mYi Insanity not able to play spoiler up against their counterparts in Vega. And Vega will move on to face X game, guys. Definitely stay tuned. We're already beyond schedule for that one. This match going 1 minute and 5. So we will have that lobby up as soon as possible for you guys. If Vega is able to beat X game here, they will tie their record and move on to a tiebreaker best of 1 that we will play today. So definitely stay tuned here on HeflaTV 1. Mike, any last thoughts on the game?
Oh man, it's not often that we get to see a game like this, but guys, MKB, buy it. I don't care who you are, buy it. It's good.
It's a good item, and unfortunately just not enough burst to bring down Tron, despite a very overzealous TP forward in the last engagement. Either way, Vega will take this one, and they'll keep their tournament hopes alive. We'll see if their mental fatigue is too much to overcome up in next game against Vega. Stay tuned, guys.